you should be able to get the air out and it should come right out the other end, just like that. You shouldn't have to use that feature on the pump. It's pretty self-explanatory as to how it gets into the pump. If you look at the little parts on the integral piece that works with the pump, you can't really put this thing in backwards. There are the little tabs on one end that match the little notches in this piece of plastic right here. So the little notches line up with those. You put it in there. The little latch right here goes on this part of the plastic. Push it down on there. It clicks in. It does not come back out. Close the door and you're primed and ready to go. Front of the pump, there's not even very many buttons on it. So we're gonna hit the on switch. When the pump comes on, you look at it, says Life Flight March 2021. That should have come up in the video to start with. We'll be able to see it later. If it doesn't, we can show it again. But what that tells you is this pump, the last time that I updated this pump was in March a couple months ago. So if you pick up a pump, we did find one in the aircraft that we need to update. It still says December. That pump will need to be updated. I don't know how that particular pump didn't get updated, but we can put it on the computer, do it ourselves. It takes only a matter of minutes to update these pumps. That part is also very easy. So when it comes up, you'll see here that it is in adult. If I want to run this for an adult drip, I leave it like it is and hit the accept button right there. If I would want to change to a pediatric patient, at this point I can hit the change button right here. So change. And then I have my choice of adult or peds. For right now, we'll go ahead and stay in the adult. We're in adult and we want to start a new infusion. Let's say we want to put this patient on an epinephrine drip. I can hit new infusion. I have my choice of searching the library here. I can, if I want epinephrine, I can go to the key that's got the E on it, which is the 3. Hit that twice. The E is up there, and I can hit find. The drips that start with E are now up here. One of them is epinephrine, and I can choose that. If you don't like doing it that way, go to the new infusion. If you want to search it another way, let's just say instead of hitting the whatever letter I want to find, I just hit find. I can scroll through the whole library if I want to, or I can sort it out by letter. Whichever way your little heart desires, knock yourself out. So let's go to this. The epinephrine is not on the screen. I'll hit next. Still on the screen. It is in there right there. So I'll hit epinephrine. You'll notice that there's a difference in what we're used to here. It has 1,000 micrograms in 250, which is what we mix it at per protocol usually. We have 4,000 mics in 250, and we have 2,000 mics in 250. The reason that we have micrograms in the bag instead of milligrams in the bag is because of a quirk on this pump. If for whatever reason your math comes out to less than 1/100th, so for instance, 1,000 divided by 250, what's that? You got your calculator handy? What's that come up to? It comes up to less than 0.01.
1,000 divided by 250. It's 4.
4, which is more than 0.0 than 1/100th, right? So if we tried to make it a milligram in there, if instead of taking 1,000 divided by 250, I divided 250 into 1, that does not come up to 0.01, and your calculator in your pump will not work. It doesn't recognize it. So that's why we had to put this in micrograms as opposed to milligrams, and we didn't think it was safe practice to put half of the epinephrine in milligrams and half of it in micrograms. So for the epinephrine and the norepinephrine or the Levophed, that is going to be micrograms in the bag as opposed to milligrams in the bag to make the math work out for the calculator. Everybody okay with that? Okay, so on this one, let's say we picked our 1,000, we mixed this in the aircraft, and I want to start this. It's already set to micrograms per milligram. I can hit dose rate. Let's say we want to start that at micrograms per minute. It's an adult, so let's hit 10. It says I'm at 10, I'm gonna hit okay. So I want to run this at 10 mics per minute of epinephrine, volume to be in infused. Let's say I have 200 in the 250 in the bag. I'll go ahead and put 200. Okay. And the time. Now I can hit the time and it's going to pull it up there for me, but really what this time is telling you, if I run it at 10 mics per minute and I have 200 in the bag, what the time is telling me is that this will last for 1 hour and 20 minutes. Right? Mm-hmm. Correct. So I'm okay with all this, so I'm going to hit OK. And this tells me that my drug name is Epi. I'm running it at 10 mics per minute. I've got 200 in the bag. It's going to last me for 1 hour and 20 minutes. And the concentration is 4 mics per mil. I'll hit next. It asks you to verify the drug again. I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to hit start. Once we're in start here, it tells you that I'm running at 10 mics per mil. I've got 199.8 left, and it's telling me I have an occlusion because my tubing is clamped. So we will mute that. Okay, occlusion paused, and I don't want to quit. I want to continue. I'm upside down. Where's my continue? There. Still pause, press OK. So now I have fixed my tubing issue and I am running again. You'll notice that there's just a little bit of air in there. The other thing with the CME pumps, if I had an air bubble that big in the CE pump, it would have gone crazy and given me a heck of an error. These are much more tolerable of minor issues like that, and they are actually adjustable also. I like these pumps better for that reason. So let's say we want to go ahead and pause this particular one right here. We can hit request pause.
Just touch it.
Request pause. It's still running. Okay. And I just want to quit this one altogether. Warning, warning, it's going to quit. Okay, I realize that. Quit infusion. Now I can go to a new infusion. Some of these infusions have boluses in them. One of them that came up as a possible issue the other day was magnesium. So if you're doing an OB patient, if I go to, M, and I hit find, I can pick you have a magnesium. This one says asthma. This one does not say asthma. The one that does not say asthma is your OB mag. So it's 40 grams in 100. It's 40 grams in a liter bag, not 100, which is what we've been using forever, ever since I've been here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that one. And the dose, we run that anywhere from 1 to 4 milligrams per hour. I'm going to go ahead and hit 2 on this, and I'll hit OK. Volume to be infused, I'll say that there's 900 left in the bag, so 900. OK. And there's my dose, and it says that will last me for 18 hours. I'm okay with all that, so I will hit OK. And it reviews the screen again. I can hit next to continue. I will hit next. There's my final, telling me I got 40 grams in 1,000. I still agree with that, so I hit OK again. And it asks me, do you want to start the drip? Yep, I want to start the drip. So we previously talked about a bolus. Now, if you'll notice, once I've got this drip running, the drip is running right now at 2 grams an hour. Down in this bottom corner right here, there's a bolus. If I hit the bolus button right there, it's going to ask me, how much would you like to bolus? Well, I'd like to bolus a couple of grams. So I'm going to hit a couple of grams in there. I'm going to approve that. Time, how much time would you like that to go in? I believe protocol says unless otherwise the patient is unstable, we're going to put that in at 20 minutes. So I will hit for 20 minutes. I will hit OK. So I've got a 2 gram bolus going in over 20 minutes. I'm good with that. I will hit OK and accept it. It says hit OK again. Make damn sure you want to do it. OK, we do want to do it. And now it is administering our bolus. If you want to pause the bolus, you can pause the bolus and go back to anything you want to. You can lock these screens. There's a lock button. If you hit lock, it gives you 2 options. You can lock the screen right here. So you have to press to confirm you want to unlock it. Oh, settle down. Why is it giving me a... Oh, probably because it's kinked right here. Okay, so press to unlock it. In this case, if I press to unlock it, it's going to say, do you really want to unlock it? I'm going to say, okay. Yeah, there's another lock button on there. If you want to hit the other unlock button, which means you have to put a code in. The code is just 4 zeros. It's 0000. I don't know why you want to use that, but if you want to use it, you're more than welcome to. So that shows you how to run the drips, how to run the boluses. We showed you in the adult mode. If you need to get from the adult mode to the pediatric mode, the easiest way to do it is probably just to turn the pump off and turn it back on, and it will ask you, do you want to continue adult or do you want to switch to peds? And then you can switch to peds at that time, which I think is what most people are doing. You actually can switch it without turning the pump off if you hit quit bolus. And I actually do want to quit. Warning, you're about to quit. I realize that, so I will hit quit infusion. And it puts me back here to a new infusion. Now you notice I don't have the option right here. I told you you could switch from adult to peds, but it's not asking if you want to. So since I don't have that option, I'm going to hit options. In this particular one, it's going to say pump configuration. I'm going to choose pump configuration. I'm going to choose general settings, and it says that I'm in adult mode. If I hit that, now I can choose adult or peds again. So if you just want to turn the pump off and turn it back on and hit peds, I think that is probably the more time sensitive matter to get that done. But it can be done, because I know I've had people ask me, can you do that without turning the pump off? It is possible, but it is probably not practical. Whichever way you'd like to do it is perfectly fine. And then if I go into the peds mode, okay, and I hit new infusion, and the libraries are all whatever you want in the library. If it's in here, just find whatever letter you want. There's 3% in here. So for instance, at 3%, I talked about we ran a drip or we ran a bolus. Do we give a infusion of 3% or do we just give boluses of 3%?
It's over 10 minutes, I think.
So we don't really give 3% infusions, we just bolus that, correct? But the problem is we cannot give a bolus without giving an infusion. I don't want to give an infusion, so I gave as close to 0 as I could. So for instance, on this is asking me for a rate. If I go in here, I think 0.01 is the lowest. Yep, let's go to 0.1, back it up, sorry. Rate, so we'll go to 0.1, and it should let me do that. I'm going to hit OK. So now it's telling me that I'm going to be running 0.1 mils per hour of 3%. That's not going to do anything to my patient in any way, shape, or form, but what it is going to do, if I put a volume in here, let's say that I put 100 for the volume, and I accept it, it tells me that that would last me 41 hours. I don't really care right now. But it's asking me to confirm that I have 3% saline. I am running it at 0.1 mils per hour. I've got 100 of that solution available to me. I agree with all that. I hit OK. I hit start. And now it is running that saline. But we all know that what we really want is the bolus. So if I hit bolus, it's going to ask for a patient weight. Let's say this patient weighs 20 kilos. And I'll hit OK. It wants to know the amount of my bolus. And it's saying here 5 to 5. I'm thinking that it's kind of directing you towards 5 mils per kilo. Let's see. And sure enough, it accepted that number. So that if you'll look in your protocol, you'll see that it's 5 to 10, I believe. We better look that up. I should have that in front of me. I apologize. But once you've got the 5 milligrams per kilogram in here, then I can, where is it? Time, oh, time on the bolus. I want to give that over 20 minutes. And I'm going to hit OK. Oh, it says that 20 minutes is below the recommended time. What does it say, Warren? I can't read upside down.
29.
of 29. Okay, so let's give that over 30 minutes. And okay. Well, I must have been off my protocol. See, it was supposed to be 30 minutes, so the pump gave you a heads up and didn't let you make an error. Don't automatically assume this is right. Please read your protocols. But I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. It's going to say press OK to bolus 5 mils per kilo out of a bag that's got 100 in it, and I'm going to say fine. So that's how you can get a bolus out of something that we don't have a drip for. That's how it was designed, and that's why we had to do it that way. You can't just program a bolus and a bolus only. You have to put a drip in there, so we put as close to nothing as we could get. Does that make sense? Does anybody else have questions about how to use the pump?